Dear brothers and sisters, peace be with you. Let us pause for a moment. Let us be still. Close your eyes if you wish. Breathe in the silence and ask yourself, when was the last time I let myself be found? Not by success, not by the world's applause, but by the loving gaze of the Father who waits. Yes, he waits. He waits not with crossed arms, but with open ones. He waits not to punish, but to embrace. So many of us carry burdens, regret, shame, guilt. But I want to say something very simple to you today. God forgives always. Always. It is we who forget how to return. There is a story Jesus told that we know so well, perhaps too well. So well that we sometimes forget to feel it. It is the story of a son who walks away and a father who waits. The son takes everything, his inheritance, his pride, his freedom, and wastes it. He ends up hungry, alone, humiliated, feeding pigs and longing for scraps. It is the story of many hearts today. Some sit in great cities, dressed well, working hard, smiling even, but inside they are far from home, starving for love, feeding on noise, on hurry, on things that do not fill. Others sleep on cardboard under bridges or behind prison walls, carrying not just their failures, but the feeling that they no longer belong. The world tells them, you made your bed, now lie in it. But the gospel says something different. The gospel says, there is a Father, always a Father, who watches the road, not just with his eyes, but with his heart. And when he sees his son returning, even while he is still far off, he runs. Imagine that. He runs. He does not ask questions. He does not lecture or keep his arms crossed. He runs. Love does not wait for dignity. Love forgets protocol. Love lifts up its robes and races down the path. This is God. This is how he forgives, not with cold justice, but with warm tears. There are people today who believe they must fix everything before they can return. But the father in the parable did not wait for an apology to love. He loved before the son spoke. And so it is with God. He loves us not because we are good, but because we are his. We must learn to return. We must not be afraid of the road back. Even if we have wandered far, even if we have forgotten the way, the Father remembers. He knows the path. He watches for us every day, every moment. So if you feel unworthy, come anyway. If you feel tired, come. If you feel ashamed, come. Do not wait to be perfect. Come home. Come not only for yourself, but for others too, so that the world may remember that mercy is real and love still runs. Mercy is not a transaction. It is not something we earn, negotiate, or buy with our good behavior. Mercy is a gift freely given. It is the beating heart of the gospel. It is the outstretched hand of Jesus to the sinner, the suffering, the forgotten. And yet, how often think we must prove ourselves first, clean up our lives, fix our messes, be worthy of a second chance. But the mercy of God does not wait on perfection. It only waits on our return. Jesus never said, "Come to me, all you who have it all together." He said, "Come to me, all you who are weary, who are burdened, and I will give you rest." That is mercy. Mercy meets us in our lowest place. It kneels beside us in the dirt, like Jesus with the woman caught in adultery. He did not lecture her. He did not condemn her. He stooped down beside her, wrote in the dust, and then said the words that can still melt a heart. "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." This, not softness, this is strength. The strength of a love that lifts, not crushes. The strength of a God who chooses compassion over control. I once met a mother who told me she had not entered a church in 10 years. "I'm not clean enough," she said, with tears in her eyes. "I've made too many mistakes." I told her what I believe is true for all of us. The church is not a prize for the perfect. It is a home for the lost. It is a table where the poor, the broken, the angry, the addicted, the ashamed, all have a place. Because mercy is not a reward. It is the first door that opens. So let us not delay. Let us stop trying to measure our worthiness and start trusting in His love. He is not waiting for your perfection. He is waiting for your heart. Let us go to Him just as we are. Let us begin again. Mercy is not a transaction. It is the beginning of our return. One of the deepest wounds in our world today is not hatred. It is forgetfulness. Forgetting who we are. Forgetting who God is. Forgetting that we are loved. So many people carry this wound silently. They smile on the outside, but are lost within. They no longer remember that they are sons and daughters. They live like orphans, fending for themselves in a world that is loud, hurried, and often cruel. They search for value in applause, in money, in appearance. But their hearts remain restless because what they have forgotten is not a lesson, but a relationship. When we forget that we are beloved by God, we begin to believe lies. We begin to think we are only as good as our achievements, or worse, only as valuable as our failures are few. And then we start to hide from others, from ourselves, even from God. But God does not forget. He does not forget His children. He does not forget the lost. He sees them in the crowd. He sees them even when they do not see themselves. Jesus reminded us of this again and again. He stopped for the blind man shouting by the roadside, for the woman who touched his cloak in fear, for the tax collector hiding in a tree. He stopped because he saw what others missing a child of God, waiting to be called by name. Sometimes those who suffer the most are not far from God, but from themselves. The poor, the elderly left alone, the young person overwhelmed by shame, the migrant treated as a number, the prisoner locked away and forgotten. Each one bears the image of God. And each one needs to be reminded you are loved. You are not forgotten. You still belong. Let us ask ourselves today, who around us has forgotten their worth? Who needs to be reminded? Not with words, but with tenderness. That they are seen, that they are cherished. And if we are the ones who have forgotten, let us be brave enough to let God remind us. Let him whisper again what he has never stopped saying. You are mine. You are loved. You are never too far to come home. There is a wisdom that is born not from books, but from brokenness. There is a holiness rises that's not from perfection, but from poverty, poverty of spirit, poverty of comfort, poverty of control. If we want to learn how to return to God, we must be willing to sit at the feet of those the world often ignores. Poor, the sick, the imprisoned, the rejected. They often carry a truth. We have forgotten that everything is grace. I remember meeting a man who had spent over 20 years in prison. He told me something I will never forget. He said, in my darkest nights, when I thought I was beyond forgiveness, I cried out to God. And I didn't hear a voice, but I felt peace. And for the first time, I knew I was still his. He said this with tears, not from guilt, but from gratitude. He had been crushed, yes. But in that crushing, his heart had opened. How often do we avoid pain, flee from failure, run from weakness, thinking these things disqualify us from God? But the gospel shows us the opposite. Jesus did not pass by the wounded. He touched them. He did not recoil from lepers. He embraced them. He did not avoid sinners. He ate with them, and in doing so, reminded them of their dignity. We must not be afraid to draw near to the wounded. In them we will see Christ. In their tears we will see His. And in their courage to hope, even after loss, we will learn again how to trust in mercy. The poor do not return alone. They carry us with them. They show us the way back, not with pride, but with hands open, hearts exposed, and eyes fixed on the Father who waits. So let us go to them. Let us listen. Let us serve. Not because we are better, but because we are family. And in their story, we may finally find our own. We do not walk back to God alone. The road of return is not a solitary path. It is one we walk together. We are not isolated pilgrims, each finding our way in silence. No, we are a people, we are family. And families, no matter how broken, return together. They carry one another when one is weak. They wait for each other when someone is slow. They rejoice not when one succeeds, but when one comes home. So often today, we are taught to think only of ourselves, our goals, our image, our journey. But the church is not a place of individuals pursuing private holiness. The church is a body, a people shaped by communion. We belong to one another. We are responsible for each other. This means that my return is not just about me. It is also about who I bring with me, who I refuse to leave behind, who I gently invite back with a word, a prayer, a gesture of mercy. There are many who stay away because they fear judgment. They think the church is a courtroom, a place where their sins will be announced and measured. But we must remind them and ourselves that the church is more like a field hospital, as Jesus would have it, a place where wounds are bound, not exposed, where healing begins, not blame, where no one is asked first, why did you fall? Did you fall? But where does it hurt? We need each other. We need to be communities that welcome, not scrutinize. Homes where people can cry and still be safe. Parishes where a person who has been away for 10 years can find open arms, not cold stares. We need to become people who forgive as we have been forgiven, who welcome as we have been welcomed, who love as we have been loved. Let us not delay in returning, and let us not return alone. If you know someone who is far from God, take their hand, walk with them, pray for them, be patient with them. Sometimes our greatest mission is not in the words we preach, but in the quiet faithfulness of walking beside someone who has forgotten their way. Let us return, and let us bring others with us. This is how God's house is filled. This is how the feast begins. And this is how the world will see that love, true love, always finds a way home. My dear brothers and sisters, we have spoken of mercy, of the Father who runs, of the wounds we carry, and the healing that awaits. We have remembered that God forgives always. And now we are invited to return, not as strangers, not in fear, but as children coming home. The door is open. The table is set. The Father is waiting. So let us not wait for tomorrow. Let us begin today. Let us forgive where it is hard. Let us love where it is costly. Let us welcome those we once pushed away. Let us walk together, not as perfect people, but as people of hope, people of mercy, people who remember what it means to be found. Be the one who returns. Be the one who reaches out. Be the one who reminds another that they still belong. And if the path seems long, do not be afraid. He will walk it with you. He always has. Even when you did not see him, he was there. Return to love. Return to mercy. Return to God. Good luck, my friends. Go with courage. Go with tenderness. And never forget, you are loved beyond measure. Thank you. Thank you with all my heart. May God bless you and may you be a blessing to others.